Hey, beautiful peeps. Welcome back to Midlife Alchemist. My name is Lakeitra, and I had to hop on here because y'all, I need a yap session. I don't have a book club here where I'm currently living, so y'all get to be my virtual book club. I finished a book on my lunch break today, and it's killing me. I need to talk about this book so bad. So y'all gonna get 2 videos this week, maybe even 3 if I'm feeling truly ambitious with the editing. Anyway, before we get into this, hey, beautiful peeps. If you are new to the channel, hey, welcome. If you are a returning viewer or a subscriber, welcome back. I see you. I appreciate you. Today, we are going to talk about Strangers by Belle Burden. And I'm a little tardy to the party. This book has been out for a while. I'll put a shot of the cover up so you can know what I'm talking about. And I have some thoughts, baby. So, first of all, the reason why I picked the book up is because I am a little over 2 years post divorce. And when I first got divorced, I read all the fiction books that I could get my hands on about women going through a divorce, what it was like, the emotional aftermath. I just needed that kinship. I needed to feel seen and feel heard and to know that all the things that I was feeling were valid. And so this has kind of been the aftermath of that. I've definitely gotten off that train, but this book kind of intrigued me because I had been seeing it everywhere. And then I put it on hold with the library and had to wait like 2.5 months to get it. So I was like, oh, I'm definitely intrigued about what they talk about. So, very brief synopsis. I won't give away too many spoilers, or I will really try hard not to. Basically, this lady, this is a memoir, Belle Burden. She was married for 20 plus years, and then out of the blue she was blindsided with her husband stating that he had an affair and he wanted a divorce. She says that she never saw it coming and how that just completely rocked her world and led her down this journey of discovery of trying to find her voice again and learn to stand on her own feet. She learned some things about herself and how to navigate life and reaffirm who how she wanted to be in the world and how she wants to be a better person, a different person, and a better parent. Um, and so I can kind of relate to that just on the surface because divorce for me was a life changing event. It was a seismic event. It no with no exaggeration changed the trajectory of my life. Um, got a divorce, literally packed up, moved to the other side of the world. I needed that break. I needed that separation. I needed to feel like um, I could make better decisions for myself. And so, um, as I'm reading this book, now I'm gonna get into the book and I'm gonna get into my thoughts. And mm, I've got 4 or 5 main thoughts about this book. My first thought is don't buy this book. Go borrow it from somebody. Get it from the library. If you've got a little library in your neighborhood, go see if you could go pick it up. Join a book club and see if somebody got some free copies. Do not buy this book. This book is mess and messy. If you want more of the backstory about the author and who she is, which I didn't know who this woman was from Adam. The financial diet. I'll link the channel, and I think they did 2 videos about this book. I will link their videos in the description box. Baby, mess and messy behind the author and her story and her family, and gives a lot of context that she absolutely leaves out of the book um, on purpose. Don't buy this book. So that's my first point, which leads into point 1.5. I need to stay out of white folks' mess. This is white folks' mess. This is rich white folks' mess. That's exactly what it is. Like, you've got Karen Steffens, who wrote about all the guys she slept with during the video vixen era, and that was a whole nother, like, that mess that went along with that and airing folks out, um, which was not my lane. It was entertaining only because they're celebrities and I kind of knew the name. This is in the same vein. This is rich white folks mess. I didn't have no business reading this because this is ridiculous, completely ridiculous. Which leads me to my second point, my second takeaway from the book. Um, I've got some notes from the book that I highlighted. Um, this book pissed me off, bad, bad, in a way that felt very unnerving. It felt, this is like, I don't know this lady, I don't know her life. Why am I so really angry? And it made me realize that we can be a victim and a willing accomplice in our own misery at the same time. And she absolutely was. So, one of the things that I highlighted from the book, page 178, she says, these are her words, a direct quote. I knew he'd been doing well, but I didn't know the numbers. I hadn't read the tax return he'd placed in front of me to sign. I'd assumed we were both stretching ourselves to afford our life together. I didn't know that he earned millions of dollars each year. I didn't know how his earnings added up. He had known everything about me, where every dollar of mine sat, but I had known nothing about him. He had not hidden it. I had chosen not to look. I had chosen not to know. Whole bird ass behavior. This I do believe he targeted her financially. He knew her background and the wealth that she came from, that she alludes to in the book, but she doesn't really go for us brokies, us non-socialized. You don't really grasp the magnitude of money that she comes from. She comes from long money, from old money, from generational money. Even after he left her broke, she was still worth something to the tune of, like, I want to say like $11 million or something like that. Don't quote me on that, but she ain't broke. Stop playing. And I say that back to my second point of being a victim and a willing accomplice at the same time, that we all come with our baggage and our blind spots. But to be in a marriage for 20 years and not in the modern era, okay, because this lady is my age. She's not old. She's, I think when they get a divorce, it was like on her 50th birthday or like in the same month. She's not. She's young. She's middle aged. So you came up during the boss babe era, the lean in era. She's got a law degree. She got legal advice that told her your prenup is not legally sound. This ain't a good idea. This ain't a good look. This is gonna leave you with your ass hanging out. And she was just like, meh, but I love him. Willing accomplice. I do believe that he targeted her for her background. I do believe that there is some financial abuse where he deliberately manipulated the situation and withheld information. Um, I wholeheartedly 110% believe that. But also, she made a conscious choice to not know. She made a conscious choice to not be engaged, not only for her well being, but for her children's well being. She made a choice not to have a voice. You are a willing accomplice in your own misery. Okay. And that pissed me smooth off. Like, not only that, You got multiple generations of women in your family. The other thing that pissed me off was that you've got multiple women in your multiple generational women in your family talking about men not handling money well. They make money, but they don't handle it and manage it well. Um, he alludes to the fact that he's got males in his family who made money but did not manage it well. At what point does self-preservation kick in? Is it that class and race overrides your common sense? It overrides your sense of dignity and self-respect? I Are you just so used to having so much money that the possibility of somebody robbing you or getting over on you or doing dirty just never enters your mind? You think you that special and that different. You bought into the fairy tale of marriage so hard and so deep. Like I like she really pissed me off, like bad. I spent the majority of the book seething in rage at a lot of her really poor decision making skills. Really poor. Third point, um, not necessarily towards her, but just my overall thought is that traditional wives, trad wives, even cosplaying one, being a stay at home girlfriend in today's age, um, is dangerous. This whole soft life girly era, I need y'all to dead that and put it to bed. That is conservative propaganda and it is going to haunt you. This stay at home girlfriend that y'all trying to push, and y'all ain't got no financial cushion, no skills, no backup plan. Y'all not telling him to put a little piece in the bank on the side for y'all. That's not part of the discussions. That is dangerous. Financial abuse is incredibly common and it's incredibly dangerous. And I need all the girlies from 9 to 99 to have that conversation with themselves and each other and get off this soft life trad wife content. Let it go. The vast majority of men out here that you're going to date don't make enough money for you to have um, a comfortable life for yourself, let alone to raise children with on one income. Not in this economy, not with this level of inflation. Social media got a lot of y'all fooled and it is dangerous. I was specifically, it made me think about my situation as a middle class woman, middle class black woman, middle aged black woman. I have a relatively comfortable life. I had a relatively comfortable life before I met my ex husband. I was very fortunate, very blessed that I was able to keep that after he left, after we got a divorce, even though it cost me. I had to pick up the tab. He benefited from the divorce. I did not. And that's another reason why this book really made me mad, because as a middle class woman, those of us who sit precariously in the middle, who are comfortable but know that we have a long way to fall if something goes sideways, it is very easy to slide back into working class or working class poor or just flat out poverty, especially when there's kids involved. This woman is solidly upper class, wealthy. She'll be fine. Even if she had to duke it out with her ex husband, which she did not, she would have been fine. Those of us who sit in the middle, who end up paying alimony, who don't get child support, who have to move out of our family homes, who have to relocate, who is being terrorized by our exes, so we have to quit our job or move, change jobs, and it impacts our finances. That's the dangerous spot to be in, because a lot of us don't have a real big cushion. A lot of us don't have that safety and support, that network to catch us if we fall. A lot of us scrapped and scraped and struggled to get to where we are, to be solidly middle class, and to let a man come in and ruin that, that's dangerous. It's incredibly dangerous. Um, Next point. Let's see. What else did I have? Fourth point. Marriage is an institution and a business deal. It's a business transaction. It is not a storyline. It is not a bundle of emotions. Um, and I need women to respect the power of marriage to destroy. It is a powerful institution and it can and will destroy you. While you're in love, thinking love gonna conquer all, and I'm gonna love this man into loving me. In the meantime, you are slowly being eroded and you're being destroyed from the inside out. And this book just really kind of honed that point that women need to respect and understand the power of institutions and respect marriage as a business arrangement. Honestly, fuck your feelings. This business. Just like you can love your job, love my coworkers, love what I do, it's fulfilling, I make a difference, I get paid real well, the benefits is amazing, but at the end of the day, it's business. And marriage ain't no different. I can love you like a fat kid love cake. This is still a contract. There's still negotiations. And to get out of it is very similar to winding down a corporate institution. There are similarities. And I need women to get that. I did not get that. I thought I was bigger than the program. I was like, oh, I'm good. I'm straight. I'm smart. I know how this works. I can figure out how to navigate if things don't work out. Men are petty. Many men are vengeful. They're reckless. Um, the saying that hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, baby. Hell have no fury like a man that don't care about you no more. Hmm. Yeah. So I need us to have conversations about money early and often, and not just how much money you make, but how do you spend it? How do you save? What's your family dynamics? Who else are you taking care of? Do you want custody if we have kids and we split? Because one of the things that also pissed me off about her, um, page 182, James, that now ex-husband, returned the document, the divorce settlement document, stripped of all his time, including vacations, holidays, weeks during the summer. He included only dinner on Thursday nights, talking about the custody arrangement with the kids. They have 3 kids together. He said he didn't want to make the kids go back and forth between us. He said he didn't want them to force to rotate holidays. He said they were too old now. The kids at the time were 13, 16, and 18 to have to do any of this, and that they were fully formed human beings. He said they could decide when they wanted to see him. He said that they could call when they needed him. I think he believed genuinely that he was making a selfless choice, that he was making things easier for them. That's a whole ass lie. And the fact that she actually wrote this and thought this, either she is being incredibly generous to him because they were married for so long and that's the father of her children, or she's just incredibly just a bird, just a ding dong. That man didn't want custody because he's done with all of y'all. He didn't want anything. He didn't want anything in writing so he can engage on his term. That's not him believing that he was making a selfless choice. It was selfish. Mm. And he knew that. And here you are in the middle of a divorce trying to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. Somebody who had an affair and left you on a whim with no warning, no hints, no attempts of reconciliation. This foolishness had me heated. Heated. Um, and I'm like, Is this what happens when your social circle becomes homogeneous? Everybody is married. Nobody's ever been divorced. Nobody has any outside kids. So y'all don't be having no real conversations. Cause I'm like, where's your friends? Where, like, she has friends in the books, and they after the divorce is initiated, then they start having very real conversations. But I'm just like, do y'all think divorce is contagious? So you can't have no single friends in your social circle while you married? Like, this is weird to me. I understand why men don't want their wives to have single friends, because single women are powerful and we speak truth to what we see, and we call a thing when we see married men doing dumb shit, and married men don't like that. I understand why married men don't want their wives to have single girlfriends, but you as an individual, as a woman, you went, I was married now, and just decided that the only people that you need to be around is other married women. Like, make it make sense. Um, which brings me to my last point. Stop lying. Stop lying to yourself. Stop lying to your kids. Lying to ourselves is one of the easiest things that we can do. Because if we can fool ourselves, we can fool anybody. And there was a lot of lying in this book. I believe that she deluded herself about a lot of things about herself and her husband. And she hid behind her kids a lot that we need to, you know, both of them did. And I say this as somebody who does not have kids. So I admit that I have a very different perspective. These are not little kids like elementary age kids. They're all teenagers, and one of them is damn near grown at the point of the divorce. Why are we playing? Why are we soft pedaling, soft launching this divorce? This man did you dirty. I'm not saying like throw him to the wolves and put him on blast. That's not what I'm advocating for. But there has to be a level of honesty in these relationships so that these patterns don't continue. There has to be a level of openness in these relationships so these patterns can stop, so that your son understands the consequences of male sanctioned behavior. This is generational. Having affairs is generational in their family. Okay. And your daughters need to understand that this is generational, and that there are consequences to being a bird. There are consequences to being a dumbass in your marriage, in your relationships. Again, I'm not saying just vomit all of your emotions into your kid's lap, but this gut reaction to just pretend like everything is okay, it doesn't seem healthy. And it doesn't seem helpful, not to the kids, not to you. I don't know what the answer is. I will not pretend to have all the answers, but as someone who has been a child, somebody who's been a child of parents who have been divorced multiple times, um, and neither one of them talked about it ever, it left me handicapped. It was I didn't know how to navigate relationships, how to navigate relationships ending, um, and this silence around male behavior. That's one of the things she did talk about that I loved and I respected, um, and I appreciated in this book. She talks about, um, as the book kind of goes on towards the end, she starts getting real honest with herself. One of the things she does say on page 196, when she was talking about money, she said, I still believe that I couldn't do it, which is manage her own finances. She said, I still believed I needed him to protect me. That's one of the most honest, gut punch things she says in this whole book. She wanted her dad back. Her dad died. And right around the time she got into this relationship, it all came kind of in a very quick timeline. I can identify with that. It's very hard losing a parent at a young age in your teens and 20s, which I still feel like your early 20s are still kind of your formative years. And so when someone kind of steps in and takes on that a very authoritarian role, authority role in your life, it can feel very comforting and comfortable, and it's easy to get swept up in that. And I respect her honesty for that. One of the few times in this book she really was real to me. Um, what else? What else did she talk about? Oh, back to not covering for male behavior. There's a couple of things that she talks about. One, where she says, I did it for love, and there is nothing shameful about that. Again, yeah, actually, there might be something shameful about that. This self abandonment, this self negation that has to take place, this humiliation ritual of ignoring yellow and red flags in your relationship, in your life, the appeasement, the tamping down of your own voice, of your own needs. Doing it for love or not, there should be something shameful about that. There should be a sense of shame around abandoning yourself for someone else, both on your end that you're doing it and that they're letting you. I know somebody gonna come in the comments and say I'm victim blaming and that I need therapy and that I'm being mean. Okay, all right. I do think there's a level of shame to that, or should be, and that shame should be a catalyst to do better for yourself and your kids if they're involved. Not to wallow in, not to engage in self-flagellation, but to be like, dang, this ain't a good look. This don't feel good. Let me clear my throat. Let me go get in some therapy. There should be some shame about abandoning yourself, even for love. Sorry, I don't agree with that at all. She also says, she talks about covering for men's behavior. I believe it's her stepmother. She says on page 217, Susan, had covered for my father's temper, for his pills, for his debt. We had all been taught to fill the hole that men left, to be quiet about men behaving badly, to move on with grace. Publishing an account of what happened to me was shining a light on that hole, the deep crevice James, her ex husband, had left. I was refusing something, the cleanup, the grace. She also says on page 228, I could see that the voice in my head, the one shaming me, had been there since I was a little girl, warning me about speaking up, especially about a man. This needs to be a whole separate video, because this idea of suffering silently to save a man, to save his reputation, to save his career, to save his relationships with other people needs to die in a fire quickly. And I don't this is definitely not just her. I have seen this play out time and time again amongst Blacks women, um, of all generations, of all classes. I have seen this with my own eyes in my own family. I have done it. I have been asked to do it. Mm-mm, not no more. Mm-mm. Baby, I will not set myself on fire to keep other people warm. I will not dim my light so that other people can shine brighter. If you don't want other people to know what kind of person you are, my very real suggestion is not to engage in that kind of behavior that you don't want to get out. Yeah, this That piece right there of covering up for men struck a nerve real bad. And I remember reading that and tearing up because that is very real. And I hate how pervasive it is amongst women that we bear the burden, we bend our backs, we hide in shame for things that have nothing to do with us, that are beyond our control, that men simply won't take responsibility for, that won't stand on business, that won't be like, you know what, I had an affair, I did it, and what? Why are you at if it was so enjoyable and if it was worth getting a divorce for, why does she need to be quiet about it? Why does she need to um, mince words or doubt her story? Mm-mm, mm-mm. And then finally, not a point, but just something that struck me as a divorcee myself. On page 209, she says, in the order, the judge granted me the right to return to my maiden name. I had to ask for his permission. I understood why some of my friends kept their married names, the names their children had after a divorce. But for me, changing my name felt like a public declaration, a before and an after. As pieces of identification arrived in the mail, a new social security card, a new passport, new credit cards, I felt a rush of excitement and purpose. I was shedding my identity as James's wife. I was returning to who I had been before I was married. And I was adopting a new identity as a divorced woman, the label I never would have chosen on my own. I did not change my name back to my maiden name after I got a divorce. One, it was just too much of an administrative headache, and I didn't want to be bothered. But also, I didn't feel particularly attached to my maiden name. That's my dad's name. And I'm of the radical belief that all children should have their mother's name because you are mama's baby, daddy's maybe. You always belong to your mother. Um, and so I didn't feel particularly attached to go back to my name. But I understand how that going back to your maiden name, especially for her coming from wealth, coming from a very long line of famous people, well known people, can be kind of a reclamation of standing of your own, kind of a staking of a new identity. For me, keeping this name was a reminder of the decision I made that led me to this future that I have now. One day I will change it on my own. I will completely change my name um, eventually, but I don't feel compelled to right now. Um, I wear my married name as an honor that I survived a marriage and a divorce, that I came out intact and whole, and that regardless of what name I carry, I'm still me. And I can appreciate the sentiment that she is conveying about names though, because it is powerful. Um, so overall, would I recommend reading it? Yes, if you like mess, definitely read it. Buy it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Go watch the Financial Diets video about it. 110%. Because if nothing else, if you get nothing else from her story, it is a cautionary tale about being a dumbass around money. Whether you got $10 or $100 million, be about your business. Do not let love blind you. Every woman, not just rich women, the broker you are, the more you had to struggle to get your money, the more you need a prenup. That's real. That's one thing I learned from my divorce. And I ain't even balling like that. And I felt like I probably needed a prenup more than she did. And this woman is worth millions of dollars. And I will always tell any woman that I encounter, oh, you in a relationship, y'all cool, y'all living together, get your papers together, get a prenup, make sure y'all got life insurance on each other, make sure y'all having financial conversations early and often, make sure you put a little piece on the side that you have money in your name only. Financial infidelity is real. Financial abuse is real. And let this trad wife fantasy go. Let it go. If you're going to fantasize about anything related to money, fantasize about cooperative economics and community. That's really what y'all need to be having fantasies about. That's what y'all need to be scheming and scamming on. How about that? So I have yapped way longer than I intended, but this book had me heated. I was in my feelings and I had nobody to talk to you. So y'all get all the feelings and all the thoughts. I appreciate y'all being here. If you made it to the end of the video, please put a heart emoji down in the comments so we can show love to each other and ourselves. Like I said, y'all will probably get 2 videos this week. I'm going to get this up and out as soon as possible. If you don't watch my other videos this week, hopefully you will come back and I will see you next week for the next video. Toodles.